from all around Geelong. I'm here to tell you how football is.
Good morning, welcome again to the GDFL Footy Show, coming to you out of a very cold Saturday morning in Geelong. And yes, my word, it has been cold all week down in this part of the world, I can tell you. Big games of footy on last weekend. The Inverleigh Hawks, much too good for Geelong West Sporting Club, coming down to earth after their big win the week before. Nathan Kenyon kicking 6 goals for the Hawks on Saturday. East Geelong, they're back in great form now. They knocked off Anarchy, decimated by injuries, the Roos at the moment. The old favourite there, Lucas Murphy, 6 goals, best on the ground. But Ricky O'Toole, isn't he starting to play some great footy at the moment? The little champ back in town again. Belpost Hill Panthers, much too good from Winchelsea. 12 players all contributed to the goal kicking for the Panthers. Belmont Lions, too good for... Start that again. The Bannockburn Tigers, much too good for the Belmont Lions. Yeah, the big fella's a bit early this morning. Too good for them. And the Tommy Tigers, too good for Corio. Lucas Forbes once again kicking 8 goals. And the 94.7 match of the day up at the Duck Pond. Yes, the Werribee Central's Ducks were much too good for... Never mind. The Centrals got home and our little mate Grubby Cations was very happy indeed. Hello, I'm Dick Philpott. And once again, I have assembled some of the biggest names and brains in country football to eradicate, adjudicate, communicate, but definitely not procrastinate. Of course, the man who needs no introduction straight away, the #1 commentator in country football, Eric Nicholls. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, Dick. Nice to be back again. And I got my Herald certificate. I swam out of Werribee last Saturday. It was quite moist up there.
Strike. You had to do about 6 laps of the Inverloch swimming pool to get my Herald certificate too. That was unbelievable. Actually, I couldn't get me seniors because I couldn't get out and get the brick off the bottom of that. It was a bit of a worry. It was about big blokes. We bob around like corks. I don't know what that is. Another story. And of course, the man who obviously needs no introduction as well is the absolute smallest man in country football. Matter of fact, he's so small that I saw a copy of his driver's licence. You can see his shoes. Morning, Grubby.
And a wonderful good morning to you too, Mr. Philpott.
Don't you love those gags? Actually, I did hear a story, Grubby, that you used to live in a 10-storey apartment block, and you can tell me this is true or not, and you used to get the lift to the 7th floor, but you used to have to walk from the 7th floor to the 10th floor. And I know the reason why you had to do that.
Well, go on, tell us, smarty pants.
You couldn't reach the 10th floor button. And the crowd has gone berserk here in the studio. They're falling apart. I've got a million of them for you now.
Well, I tell you what, I hope they're better than that one.
I've just realised I can Google short jokes on the computer, and I've got a million of them.
Well, you don't reckon there's no fat jokes on there, mate?
Yeah, probably. No doubt about that. Good to see you again, mate. I've got a million of them coming up, folks. Don't you worry about that. And anyway, speaking to the little fella, he had a great interview with Mick Knight after the Werribee Centrals game on Saturday. Here they go.
Really, really tough game and a very important win for Werribee Centrals.
Yeah, well, depending on other results, I think we're back in the 5 now, so it was a good win. North Geelong had knocked up a couple of good sides this year, and the ground was in pretty bad nick, but the weather was okay, but it was just a slog all day, and full credit to them. They ran it out and really gave us a test.
Well, we've had a few of the results, and it looks like we're not only in the 5, or you're not only in the 5, you've gone to 4th position, but a pretty tough run home. You probably still have to beat a couple of the good sides.
Yeah, definitely. We have to take a scalp if we want to be any chance later on in the year, you'd think. So we've got Belmont next week, and then we've got the 2 probably toughest trips, Belpost here and then East away. So we've got to win at least one of them, you'd think. And the way we played today, I think we're a big show, and a few of the boys are starting to really gel together, and yeah, I think we're a massive chance.
Mate, one of the lowlights of today's game is everyone has seemed to get the ball, as we said in the call. They couldn't kick it properly. But I reckon you've had 27 kicks and 27 went to a man. What do you put that down to, mate?
Oh, well, I think you got to thank the other boys there for running a bit harder, but just give it some air and let the other blokes do the work. But today, like I said, the ground was pretty no good, and the ball was like a cake of soap by the end of it. But it really was a slog, and it probably wasn't pretty to watch. So I apologise to anyone that had to watch that, but we'll take the 4 points any day of the week.
And another great interview there by the little man in football, Grubby Cations, and I can tell you now, that if you couldn't pick it up on your screen, folks, he was the shorter one. Don't worry, I actually love the bloke, really. I'll give him a low 5 after the show tonight. Don't you worry about that, or this afternoon. Still there, Grub?
Mate, you're going to get a bunch of 5s in a minute. Don't you worry about that.
I've got to stop this. He's been Googling like crazy when he gets out of here this morning. Don't worry about that. Now, the 5. Let's have a look at the ladder and see what's going on up there as we come towards the end of the footy season round, home and away. Yeah, the Tommy Tigers still sitting on top. They haven't lost a game, but they have drawn a game, but they're sitting up there looking pretty pleased with themselves, followed by Belpost Hill, East Geelong, Werribee Centrals and Bannockburn. Probably that first 4 there, or even the first 3 probably won't change around too much, but Werribee Centrals, Bannockburn just sitting inside the final 5 there. North Geelong knocking on the door. It's going to be hard for them with a big game up at Belpost still on Saturday or this afternoon. Followed by Anarchy, Inverleigh, Belmont Lions, Geelong West Sporting Club, Corio, and of course Winchelsea. I really don't think they're going to open the account at all. Eric, can you see much change in that final 5 this weekend?
Very hard to see this weekend, Dick. I suggest that the first 3 are starting to look as if they might well consolidate. Yes, even East Geelong have come from 7th 3 weeks ago to 3rd. I think there's now 4 teams vying for 2 positions, Werribee, Bannockburn North and Anarchy, and these next few games are absolutely crucial to each of those four clubs.
Grubby, yourself, Eric right there, probably nothing much this Saturday, but as the season unfolds now, moving into towards the end, it's going to be interesting.
Well, it is, and I've actually been in the chances of Werribee most of the year because of their draw. If they can play the football they've been playing, in a couple of weeks they actually play East Geelong, Eric, and with 2 points behind them, they might, if they can continue that form, might even challenge for top 3.
Oh, definitely.
Or they mightn't make it at all.
I agree, totally.
Now, the 94.7 match of the day last weekend, of course, was Werribee Centrals and North Geelong up at Galvin Park. Grubby, I'll ask you, you'll be happy the way Werribee Centrals performed through that game?
Look, not overly happy, no. I thought, to be quite honest, and I don't like doing this, but North Geelong for the first half were dismal. I know a few of their supporters weren't happy, and they were pretty bad till half-time. Their third quarter was terrific. They needed to get within a couple of goals to come home with a win. They did that, but they run out of gas. And I just don't think Werribee's performance was a fantastic performance. It was a workmanlike performance. But when North Geelong got a run on, Werribee were powerless to stop them for a little while. And I think they ran out of gas a little bit, North.
The last 5 minutes before three-quarter time, North run finished and Werribee finished the third quarter well, and that probably won the game for them.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. Had North Geelong been able to kick another goal and get some more momentum, they could have easily won that game. But as I say, yeah, look, it was a workmanlike performance from Werribee Centrals, but not a great performance, I didn't think, no.
But Grubby, on the day, I could only speak in glowing terms of the Werribee defence. It was probably much better than I've seen it in other games this year.
Well, it really stood up last week. I think there's been some moments during the year where they've been inundated with blokes taking big screamers on them. And I just thought they were pretty good. They were very, very solid. There's one or two blokes there, I don't want to go mention them on screen. There's one or two blokes there got to lift their game a little bit, who, a few mistakes that they made. But look, no, they're pretty strong.
All right, we're going to take a short break and pay some bills. We'll come back. We've got Mitch Cleary's Colts segment. We've got a very special guest coming on from the Cry Devils Footy Club. Back after this.
Raiders from all around Geelong. I'm here to tell you how football is strong.
Welcome back, and of course, at the same time, every Saturday morning, we enjoy what's going on in the local Colts League at the moment. Here's Mitch Cleary.
Thanks, Dick. Another round of Colts action awaits us this morning, with round 7 to get underway in just over an hour's time. St Mary's host Torquay this morning at St Mary's Oval. The Tigers making the trek up to St Mary's Oval. The Tigers lost their first game of the season last week to Colac and will be hoping to bounce back against St Mary's. If St Mary's are successful this morning, they'll move to first place over Torquay. And quick shout out to St Mary's coach Bryce Vincent, who plays his 200th senior game later this afternoon. And he's hoping his under 18s do the job this morning as well. Other matches in Division 1, Lara hosts Drysdale, Newtown and Chilwell play Grovedale, Ocean Grove take the trip to Colac, and St Joseph's plays host to South Bowen. In Division 2, there's another table-topping clash this morning, with Werribee Centrals travelling to Geelong Amateur. Thanks to the new Colts system, these two sides meet for the first ever time in under 18s, so expect a clash between these two sides where they do not know much about each other, and a good chance to get a leg over at this time of the season. In Division 3, currently 3 out of the top 4 teams are GDFL clubs, with North Geelong, Belmont Lions and the first placed Inverleigh making up 3 of the top 4 teams. Last week, a forfeit saw Queenscliff hand the points to Belmont Lions, and Belmont Lions host Play Model Warri this morning in the Cogs vs Spud Cup, as named by our very own Brian Coughlin. In other matches in Division 3, St Mary's 2s host North Geelong, Anglesea plays South Bowens 2s, Inverleigh plays Drysdale 2s, and North Shore play Queenscliff. And in Division 4, for GDFL fans, there's an all-GDFL clash, with Anarchy hosting Corio, Anarchy travelling to Corio rather at Shell Reserve. These two sides sit 4th and 5th on the table, so it's a good opportunity to push for finals as the business end of the season fast approaches. That's all for Colts action this morning, Dick. I'll see you next week. But for now, it's back to you.
Thanks, Mitch. And, of course, Mitch will be back again next Saturday morning talking everything that's Colts footy in Geelong. Well, every time it's time of the morning, we always have a very special guest on the show. And this week we've really come up again with the goods. He's the coach of the Corio Devils, and he's Mark McDowell. Good morning, Mark.
How are you, Dick?
Nice to have you on the show, mate. And I guess you've got Eric Nicholls beside you there. And I know you can go back a fair bit, you blokes, especially with your running prowess, which is something I can't talk about too much. But what's going on out at the Corio Devils, mate? It's not really one of your best seasons at the moment.
No, unfortunately, it's been pretty disappointing for us so far this season. We really had a good year last year, considering where we come from the year before. But, you know, just circumstances with players. Some of the older blokes are getting a bit older and haven't played as well as what they did last year. A few blokes have had niggling injuries, and other players with some personal circumstances has impacted on our performance on the field.
Morning, Mark. Good to see you. We go back a long way in footy, and we were just speaking before we come on air. We actually have something in common. We both coached Geelong Amateurs. That's a rare thing, isn't it?
It is too, yeah, no.
I don't be too proud about that.
Why not?
No, that's all right. Okay.
As Dick was saying, you know, you've had a tough year so far, Mark, but on the upside, has there been some good, like the opening of the new rooms, for example? Has that given the players a little bit of impetus, and do you think that down the track it might help you get players?
Yeah, well, you'd hope so. Unfortunately, with the rooms, they never got open until about round 3 or 4, so we basically didn't have anywhere early in the season to congregate as a group, which sort of impacted on us a bit. But now we've got them open. It's a magnificent setup there. A lot of thanks to Councillor Granger for working hard and ensuring that that's come to fruition. So we're really happy about that and really see it as an opportunity for the club going forward for sure.
You're mentioning to Dick a moment ago that top players from last year struggling. You mentioned also that your top 4 and your best and fairest really haven't hit their straps this year, and the younger kids, they look for those sort of players for leadership, don't they?
Absolutely. Yeah, well, Jason Yoon was one of the best and fairest last year and just had a phenomenal year for us last year. He was, some of the games that he played were as good as anyone I'd seen play in GDFL football in all the time I've coached. So he was really, and unfortunately this year he's just not getting the forward entry and the ball delivery to him this year. But he's certainly starting. He showed some really good signs last week of really getting back to some really good form. And then we've got, you know, Stewie was runner up the best and fairest last year. Stewie's another year older, so it's, you know, making it a bit more difficult for him. Played a really good game against East Geelong 2 weeks ago. And of course Barry O'Toole, who really provides us some really strong on-field leadership. Unfortunately put in a really good pre-season, then ended up with patellar tendonitis, and he's only played a couple of games now, and we don't get him back for another week. So those aspects have really hurt us a lot, and a couple of the younger fellas haven't come on as well as what we thought they would this year. But, you know, I think that the top sides have improved from last year. They've certainly got a lot better. That's my view compared to last year. Yeah.
For many, many years, I guess the fear of other clubs to go out to the Cauldron at Shell Oval, it doesn't appear to be the same, and I guess you've got to now get the respect of the other clubs back again, don't you?
Yeah, and that's what I've been speaking to the playing group about. That what it's about is about, you know, not only getting respect from the other clubs, but to sort of win back some respect for ourselves as well, because we've copped a couple of decent hidings throughout the year this year, which has really, you know, dinted our self-belief and hurt the confidence of the group. So we're just going to we really think we've got an opportunity this week against Anarchy. We really think we're going to really, you know, maybe, you know, it's a big opportunity for us to get a win on the board.
Mark, you said you used to be the coach out at Corio, like in about 1992 you were out there doing it.
Yep. It's
now 20 years down the track. We know time flies a lot these days. Is the culture of the club the same as it was in '92? Has it improved, or is it the same? I think it's improved. That's what I'm trying to say anyway.
Yeah, I think it depends on what sort of...
It was a pretty tough club back then, wasn't it?
It was a very tough club.
It was a tough club, no bones about it.
It was like being in the Wild West. There were some very colourful characters back then, and that was a real challenge to coach some of those guys, but they were all, you know, great fellas. They were good fellas and that. But I think the thing that I noticed about the Colts, back then the guys trained harder.
Yep.
I think there was to me, there was more commitment to training. Like we train, you know, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday morning, and Sunday morning you'd have 30 blokes, 40 blokes at training. Like I wouldn't think there'd be too many local clubs that would get 30 or 40 blokes that trained on a Sunday morning.
Very nice bonus.
So that's sort of but I think that's not just a shift with Corio. That's a shift across all local football clubs, I would think.
Good. Well, thanks very much, Mark, and it's been a pleasure having you on the show Saturday morning.
No worries.
Good luck out of Corio for the rest of the season and for building that club back up again, and everything's going the right direction. Good luck this afternoon against Ennick. I know you'd love to get a win there in that game, but it is good to have you in on a Saturday morning, Mark, and we wish you all the best, mate.
Okay, thanks for that, men, and yep, I'm sure we can step forward as the season goes on, and it might take us a few years, but we'll be back very soon.
Good on you, mate. Marcus Ardell, the coach of the Corio Devils, our very special guest on the show this morning. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about all the action on this afternoon. Back after this.
We are the Raiders from all around Geelong. I'm here to tell you how football is strong.
And welcome back. And of course, we've got a great round of matches on this afternoon, and nothing bigger than the 94.7 match of the day. It's out of Victoria Park, and it's the Bannockburn Tigers. They take on East Geelong, and I'll start with you, Eric, and you can have a chat with your little mate Grubby beside you there. I emphasise the word little. But Bannockburn, this is going to just see exactly where they're at the moment and how good they are.
Well, actually, at the risk of repeating myself 3 or 4 weeks in a row, Dick, it is a crucial game for both clubs relative to the finals. And East Geelong 3rd, Bannockburn 5th. East Geelong seem to be playing footy at the right time of the year. Bannockburn got to prove to me yet that they can beat sides in the top 5. Grubby, you saw them a couple of weeks ago. They're a little bit inconsistent. East Geelong have now developed that consistency.
Yeah, look, you're right, Eric, and I'm not quite 100% sure whether inconsistent for Bannockburn is the right term. I think they're not quite good enough. Okay. To be quite honest, I don't think they're quite good enough to beat the good sides. And I think at the moment, East Geelong is a good side, and I think they'll really struggle, even though it's out at Victoria Park. They've got to prove to us and everyone now that they are good enough, and I'm not sure that they are. I really aren't.
Best players last week for both clubs, Grubby, interested me. East Geelong, O'Toole, Chalice, Murphy, 3 champions. Bannockburn, Broome, Shaw and Woods. If they were all to play well today, they could almost pitch against one another, and it'll be a game in itself.
Well, that's right, and I think the East Geelong boys that made the best players have been in the best players for quite a fair while, but Christian Shaw, a little bit disappointing. He's been okay. Broome's been fantastic all year, but I tell you, if Ricky O'Toole and Chalice and Murphy get going again, I don't know if Bannockburn's got anyone to stop them.
So both going for East Geelong, is that what the big story is at the moment?
I will be, yeah.
Yeah, I will be at the moment, Dick, certainly.
Fair enough. Well, the experts say it's all going to be East Geelong, and as Eric said, a very crucial game. You can catch it at 1:30 this afternoon on 94.7 The Pulse, your home of country football. 1:30 will be a fantastic call indeed with the boys there. That's them on the screen. Okay, another big game out at the Inverleigh Oval this afternoon. Inverleigh Hawks back in a little bit of form at the moment, and you'd think that they might just continue on with that, playing a Winchelsea side that's really, well, to use the pun, down in the blues at the moment, Grubby.
Well, they are 1 goal in a half a foot. Geez, that's a beautiful looking ground. Where's that at on our screen?
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those interstate grounds, isn't it?
Yeah. One goal 5 for the whole game of football is not good enough. And I know they're struggling out there, and I know they've got all their off-field stuff, their rooms and their lights, and let's hope they come good. But 1 goal 5, I'll say it again, isn't good enough. Obviously, Smithy's got his boys playing much, much better than he was early in the year.
Excuse me, Grubby, I just realised it's Werribee. I can see all the water on the ground. It's the duck pond.
Where's the water? There's the water out. There's the water they pumped out. Bobby Chamberlain pumped it all out.
There's a bit of the mud there.
Oh, you're going to interrupt me. I'm going for Inverleigh. I'm going for Inverleigh.
Oh, no, Eric, can you see Winchelsea having their first win for the season?
No, I'm sorry, Dick.
It would have been nice, wouldn't it? But I think the poor old Blues are really struggling at the moment, unfortunately. Another big game on this afternoon. Well, it is if you're a Belpo still supporter, I suppose. Up at the Ring Road Recreation Reserve, they take on the old foe, the new neighbours, the North Geelong Magpies. And I'll start with you, Eric, and just say that the Magpies, half a dozen players in shutdown. I still don't understand what that means. All I know is I've got 6 players missing out of my favourite footy team. And they'd have to be struggling, you'd think, up at the Ring Road Recreation Reserve this afternoon.
Well, certainly have to play a lot better than they did last week, Dick, to have any chance at all. I've penciled Belpost Hill in as one of the top 2 sides this year in the finals, and given that indication, I'd be very, very surprised if they didn't win this afternoon. They've got a couple of good players at North, and young Miller and Podner, two of the younger fellas. Miller, until he was sent off for 15 minutes last week, could have been the key to the game, but they're leaving too much to the young kids. Belpost still taking all before them. I think they could win comfortably. Just saw a bit of water there in Grubby too.
Yeah, there was. Man, look, I don't know much about shutdowns either, but I wish you'd shut up.
Okay, out at the Winter Resort, the Belmont Lions, well, we need them to win, does the North Geelong Magpies. They're taking on Werribee Centrals from the Duck Pond out at the Winter Resort. Grubby, who do you reckon is going to win out of these two clubs?
Well, I think Werribee Centrals will probably win. I think they're still playing well, good enough football to do that, although over the years haven't been beaten that many times down here, but they've had a hell of a lot of frights down there. They don't play the ground very well, and I think Belmont's improving every week. They really need someone to play on Canavan, who's been fantastic.
He's a gun, isn't he?
Oh, well, hopefully he's not a one-man show from, for the last few rounds, but he probably has been till now a little bit. But I think Werribee might be too strong down there. They have to win. It's as crucial for them as for the East Geelong Bannockburn game, I think.
Always hard at the Winter Resort, Eric.
Oh, absolutely, Dick. It's a one-off, and a lot of clubs have difficulty there, but I was very impressed with Werribee last week. Played very well.
Yeah, absolutely. Another big game on this afternoon. We just spoke before to Mark McDowell, the coach of the Devils, and they take on Anarchy this afternoon. I'll start with you, Eric, that Anarchy decimated by injuries and might be a chance for the Cry Devils.
Yeah, injuries and lockdown or something. What is it? I think they've got the
shut
same.
Down or something.
Shut up. Yeah.
Grubby says, "Shut up, Dick," whatever it means. I don't
know. But this is a game absolutely crucial for Anarchy. If they're going to take part in the finals, they must beat the sides that are below them on the ladder. As Mark said, Corio really in development stage once again, and it might well be a long season for this second half for them. But Anarchy, they've got to play good football with what they've got available, and that's the unfortunate reality, that they can only play the fellas who are fit and are available to play. And I think they'll win this. They beat them pretty well earlier in the year, and I think they've got a big chance.
Cryo a chance, Grub?
No.
Oh, thanks very much for expanding on that. Yes, well, our boys both believe that the Anarchy Roos will be too good for the Cry Devils this afternoon out of the Devils playground. The last game on this afternoon, we'll ask Grubby what he thinks about this one. Geelong West Cricket and Footy Club, well, they played all right a couple of weeks ago. They had a big 10-goal resounding win over the Cry Devils, and they came back to earth last week with a bit of a thud. Now they're up against the league leader, Tommy Tigers. It's out at the Church Street Oval. Do you give them any chance at all, Grubby, and don't just say no this time?
No. No, actually, no. Look, I don't give them much of a chance, no. You've got the second bottom side, third bottom side playing the top side. Thompson are playing pretty good football. Look, to be quite honest, there's two sides that stand out at the moment, the Panthers and the Tommy Tigers, and unfortunately, as much as Geelong West have won a couple of games and it's great to see, they'll be no match for the Tommy Tigers out there, no chance in the world.
Eric?
Be interesting to see what goals the full forwards can kick this afternoon. Forbes, one of the leading goal kickers in the competition, and
Daniel Harrison.
Harrison at West, they're both playing good. That might be the interest in the game. Thompson comfortably. All
right, well, that's it for a big round of matches this afternoon. Don't forget, out of Victoria Park, the match of the day, the Bannockburn Tigers taking on the East Geelong Eagles from 1:30 this afternoon. And a bit of sad note, we don't like having to mention these things, but it's certainly a very sad note indeed for the Belmont Lions Footy Club. Their under-14s coach, Dave Peterson, passed away last week, and a very sad thing indeed. Poor old Dave was only in his 40s, but he really made a great contribution, not only to the Belmont Lions, but to football and junior football in general, and to his family. From everyone here at the Footy Show, we do extend our deepest sympathy. Once again, thanks very much for your company. I've had my friend Donna sitting here beside me. Yeah, that's a lovely Donna. She'll be doing the netball again next Saturday morning. Next Saturday morning, you watch the lovely Donna. She'll be there, close to my heart. And
what does she like, fat blokes, does she?
No, that's all right. Well, look, we enjoyed your company again, folks. We'll see you all again next Saturday morning. I'll have a whole lot of new gags for the little bloke. I'll never have any gags for Eric because I respect him far too much.
Rosemary won't let you come next week, mate.
There's a million lines there. And we'll see you all again next Saturday morning. And bye for now.
We are the Raiders from all around Geelong. I'm here to tell you our football is strong.